This is an American soldier at the top of the world on the Greenland ice cap. He is by no means alone out here. Spread across this mighty ice cap are many other soldier and civilian scientists, engineers, technicians, and support troops. They are all probing the mysteries of the Arctic wastes. You may well wonder what Americans are doing in this polar wilderness of ice and snow. A glance at a globe of the world, however, will readily show that the shortest air route from the Americas to Eurasia is over the North Pole. It is imperative that we push the outpost line of defense of the free world far to the north, in the very shadow of the pole itself. Our active military interest in the lands above the Arctic Circle began in 1950, when it became apparent that communist strategy was to step up the Cold War to hot war aggression in Indochina and Korea, a policy which brought quick reaction in the free world. The polar regions became a major strategic area. But little was known of this mysterious land of the midnight sun. Until recent times, the northern part of Greenland was a total unexplored wilderness. It was not until 1909 that Admiral Robert E. Peary electrified the world by his conquest of the North Pole from an advanced base in North Greenland. And in 1910, the Danish explorer Knud Rasmussen established a trading post at Thulé, a name derived from the Romans meaning the ultimate ends of the earth. These hardy early explorers lived like the native Eskimos. Their homes, native tents. Their food, seal blubber. Their clothing, the skins and furs of native animals. Their transportation by dog sled or on foot. The scant records of the pioneers gave few answers to the military planners who were faced with the need to fight endlessly for bare survival. They pondered a host of questions on how to establish and maintain modern armies with a vast complex of supplies and equipment on the Greenland ice cap. The famous polar flyer, Colonel Bernt Balchen, fortunately recalled that Rasmussen had mentioned that the Thulé area would be suitable for a polar airbase if such were ever needed. A survey of the Thulé district showed the soundness of Rasmussen's suggestion. American ingenuity was called upon to design and build a mighty airbase at Thulé which could handle our largest aircraft. Greenland is part of Denmark. The Danish government was glad to cooperate in this important step to move the free world's line of defense northward. And an agreement was soon reached between the governments of Denmark and the United States. Overcoming tremendous problems of polar construction and survival, and with the close cooperation of the Danish government, industry went into high gear in the country's defense. In record time, the largest secret amphibious operation since D-Day in Normandy smashed through the sea ice of the Arctic Ocean to within 800 miles of the pole. The ships dropped anchor in North Star Bay at Thulé, Greenland. Army engineers and the Transportation Corps went to work in an around-the-clock stevedoring operation. Dirt flew in all directions as quarries were dynamited for material to construct airstrips and roads. Crews worked in shifts around the clock during the Arctic summer daylight when the sun never sets. For example, these pictures were taken at 2 o'clock in the morning. Thus, the mighty airbase grew like magic out of the eternally frozen landscape. In 104 days of continuous labor, Thulé was operational. The mortal remains of Knud Rasmussen, which lie at the summit of Mount Dundas, must indeed have marveled. With the Thulé Air Base a reality, the scientists and support troops flew in. First order of business, a complete polar outfit. For out on the Icecap, man does not survive long without the proper clothing in the often 60 degrees below zero temperatures of an Arctic blizzard. These felt boots protect the feet against frostbite in the crisp, dry air of the Greenland Icecap, where it never rains. A rainy day in New York, however, would turn them into clammy mush. In the grim shadow of the glowering edge of the Icecap, about 14 miles inland from Thulé, a primitive base was established called Camp Tuto, meaning Thulé Takeoff. From Camp Tuto, the first dangerous probes of the Icecap began. Never before had heavy vehicles ascended the cap or attempted to travel over its rugged surface. Crevasses, many of them camouflaged by a deceptive bridge of snow, were an ever-present danger. They varied in size from shallow cracks in the ice to massive ice caverns as large as a cathedral. A lead group gingerly tested the trail. The drivers warily steered their vehicles by remote control. Helicopters went scouting ahead for a relatively free crevasse area. This Rube Goldberg-like contraption is an electronic crevasse detector. A safe trail through the dangerous crevasse area was located and marked with colored flags. The crevasse area extended some 60 miles from the edge of the Icecap. After that, the mighty ice blanket was solid.